What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we have a bit of a haul. Now, I have smelled the original in the Parfum in the past through decants, but it was just one time. I don't really remember them. So we can look at it as a rediscovery of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Scandal Le Parfum, and absolutely the first time of Scandal Absolu. So we're going to bust all three of these open, give them a sniff, cross-reference them with the notes, and give them a rating. Stay tuned. So it's only natural that we start with the original. This is Jean-Paul Gaultier's Scandal. Now, I do remember this having a distinctive caramel note to it that offered a nice bit of sweetness. This is definitely a line of sweet fragrances. These are all 50 mLs, by the way. I don't need bigger than a 50 ml. There you go. Has the crown on the top. We're going on skin with all of these. Cap clicks very well into place. Actually has a good bit of metal. Decent atomizer as well. That is pleasant. That does come across as familiar. Like I said, I have smelled it before. It's just been a couple of years, and it was just one time from a decant. Little hint of spice. Typical sweet designer. You know, nothing special. Falls into a family of fragrances like the Wanted line, like the Stronger With You line, like 1 Million, you know, fragrances like that. It's in that family. Not exactly like one another, not exactly like any one of them, but a similar style and shares similar notes and accords and stuff like that. So if you like any of that stuff, you'll like this. If you have any of that stuff, this is going to be pretty redundant. Though I do have to say, this strikes me a little spicier than I remembered it being, which I actually prefer that. I think it does smell really good. Sweet, spicy, typical evening wear, cooler weather designer stuff, youthful. There's something inherently woodsy about this, a distinctive woody note, maybe a cedar or something like that, because it's not like a creamy type of note, even though I know there's a caramel note in here. I do remember that, and I do smell that distinctively about this one, but I like it a lot, but I don't love it. I think that's why I never bought a bottle previously, because I do like it. Smells wildly redundant. Let's pull up these notes.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
So here we go. Scandal Pour Homme, 6.7 out of 10 with 779 ratings on Parfumo. Pretty well received. Not just, oh my God, it's amazing, but very well received. Sweet, synthetic, gourmand, spicy, creamy. See, I don't really get all that much creaminess. Maybe as it dries, I'll get more of it. But according to this, caramel, tonka bean, clary sage, vetiver. So there's that woody tone I was talking about. It's vetiver. It offers a hint of, I guess, enough of an earthy tone to give it kind of that, what I was maybe discerning as cedar. Now, creamy, I would think that would be the caramel is going to do that more and more as it dries. Up top, not super creamy, spicier than you would think. Especially seeing this note breakdown, there's nothing really spicy in the note pyramid. But there's a nice balance of some warm spice with this, delicious candied-like sweetness, because you got tonka bean, which is basically a vanilla. It does give a little touch of powder. It's not a super powdery tonka bean smell. And, of course, that syrupy caramel smell, which I think is the star of the show here. It's a very good fragrance. It doesn't blow me away. I think it's absolutely a 7.5 out of 10. That might even have been what I gave it the first time I smelled it. Because smelling it, it's coming back to me now. Definitely distinctively that caramel. I do like this. Again, very good fragrance. I doubt it's going to be the best of the bunch. I just have this gut feeling I'm going to like the Absolu the most, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe it's a progression. Maybe they get worse as we go. I don't know. But the original Scandal Pour Homme, 7.5 out of 10. Now we're moving into the Le Parfum, which I did smell one time. From what I remember, they don't list the caramel, but I still smell the caramel. That's what I remember being my takeaways from the Le Parfum. Gotta love that super dark color, though. Let's see what we're working with here. Good atomizer. I do like the way the cap clicks into place. Nice heft to the bottle and everything. It is nice. Out in the air, I'm getting a little bit of a floral powdery nuance. Yeah, I bet this has iris. I want to say it does. I could be wrong. Smells like it might be a designer iris. Something green about it as well. Not necessarily a green spice. Something a little green. I still get the woody tone here, but I don't get kind of that earthy feel. Like the dirtiness that the vetiver had in the original. And it's not as sweet. I still smell the caramel. It's just not as abundant as it was in the original. Maybe it's not a progression because I like the original more. Yeah, I like the original more. I do. I would say this is more versatile and you could wear this one in the daytime. I think this works a lot better in the daytime. And it also doesn't strike me as a heavier fragrance that you can't wear in the slightly warmer weather, like milder temperatures, maybe not high heat. Probably still not a good idea. Yeah, I'm thinking there's something a little floral about this one. Let's pull the notes up.
12 seconds later.
2022 Scandal of Parfum. People seem to like this one more. The rating's a little bit higher, 7.6 out of 10, 317 ratings. Sweet, synthetic, woody, gourmand, spicy, almost the same. Geranium, tonka bean, sandalwood. Aside from tonka bean, very different note breakdown. I still get the caramel. Geranium's interesting because it's not inherently minty and fresh. If anything, it's more of a sweeter geranium. I do get a little bit of a powdery nuance that I was mistaking for, I guess, iris. I guess the tonka bean being maybe a little powdery and the geranium combination was making me think maybe that's what it was, is maybe a reach. Apparently it was a reach. I don't like this one as much. I do like it. It's still a very good fragrance. It's just not as good. It's a 7 out of 10. It loses half a point here for me. It loses some of the charm, some of the luster about what I found enjoyable in the, I guess, heavier sweetness and heavier spice, honestly, of the original. And I don't think they're crazy redundant to one another either. You can tell it's a progression, but is it for the better? I don't know. That's very subjective. But for me, no, not. I think it takes a half a point hit where it's still a very good fragrance. It's definitely creamier, but not sweeter. 7 out of 10. Now I'm super curious about the Absolu, the newest one. I don't know, my gut's telling me it's going to be the best of the bunch. I don't even know if, I don't recall looking at the notes. I just kind of bought it on a whim because they stocked it. It's this gold iridescence, almost gradient-like because it's clear. Like the color changes, but it's translucent clear to a painted bottom. We're going to go right here on the wrist. They got good atomizers on here, I gotta say. And I do like how the cap clicks well into place. Get a little bit of an ice cream smell out in the air. Like a vanilla ice cream. Very tonka bean forward. This is like vanilla bean ice cream kind of smell. So it's very tonka bean forward. Much more powdery. Has this icy cooling effect to it. That's why I give it the vanilla bean ice cream treatment with what I'm saying I smell. This is more enjoyable. I straight up smell vanilla bean ice cream. And I get nothing else. So this initial blast is very one-dimensional for me. I like the dimension, but it's very one-dimensional currently. There's a woody nuance kind of hanging in the backdrop. And there's a like syrupy sweetness starting to set in, so it's changing. Okay, because it was very straightforward and singular with what I was smelling. This is my favorite of the three. My gut was right. This is my favorite of the three. It doesn't have the spice of the others, especially not the original is the spiciest of the bunch for sure. I think the original is a really good happy medium. The original in some ways is the best. But I do find something special about this ice cream-like accord that I'm getting. A little bit of syrupiness. This is just the opening blast. We need to give it more time to develop, obviously. But let's go ahead and cross-reference these notes.
More moments later.
Okay, it's the highest rated of the bunch. 2024 release, 7.8 out of 10, 141 ratings. Sweet, gourmand, creamy, synthetic, fruity. So it's honey. There's why it's syrupy to me. Honey, chestnut, gardenia, sandalwood, patchouli, and marabelle plum. So there's a fruitiness that should set in here. Okay, but I do get the woodiness. I definitely get the syrupy sweetness. And I don't see any tonka bean, but it smelled like ice cream in the opening, like a vanilla bean ice cream to me. I'm sure there's still tonka bean in here. There's tonka bean in the previous two. I'm sure it's in the third one. It's probably set into the formula. Even though they didn't list it, I smell it. That honey sandalwood combination, and even a little bit of chestnut, because it's not like a moist sweetness, even though there's honey. There's something kind of drying it out a little bit, and that's got to be. And they printed this one backwards. Oh, I just noticed that. So I want to show you something. So on the front of both of these bottles, you see where the label is? You see how it's recessed? On the back, it's nice and smooth. See where it's printed? Look at that. They printed it on the wrong side, so I have an errored bottle. That's something unique, right? It just caught my eye. I was like, why is that on the back? Oh, it doesn't matter. I just caught my eye and figured I'd point it out. A little misprint, I guess you could say. I do like this one the most. And the original's my second favorite. Le Parfum's really good, but it's the caboose. It's number 3 of this bunch. I think the Absolu's the 8 out of 10 of the bunch. This is a great fragrance. It is the sweetest of the bunch. But it's not as youthful to me as the original. I think the sweetness that's in the original Scandal comes across a bit more juvenile and playful than the sweetness here. I don't know if it's just the way it's blended, that gardenia is maybe grounding it a little bit by giving it that floral component. It doesn't smell distinctively flowery, but there's a thickness to this, and something like gardenia, tuberose, flowers like that can add like a robust tone, can thicken up an aroma in my experience, and I have a feeling that's what's going on here. Could be a contributing factor of things like honey and sandalwood and so on. There is some slightly heavier notes here. I don't get a lot of earthiness. I don't get a chocolatey feel, so I guess this patchouli, if anything's adding maybe some creaminess. Because this is the creamiest of the bunch, but it's still not like super thick. But to me, this is the best of the bunch for my taste. So Scandal Absolu, 8 out of 10. Well, there you go. I did pick all 3 of these up from Fragrance Buy. I figured if I was getting one, because I wanted to get the Absolu because I'd never smelled it, and I was like, I put off getting the original 2 forever. If I'm going to get one, I might as well get all 3, and we'll revisit the entire line. Maybe do a buying guide, if you will. I know people are going to ask about performance. This was a first impressions, a revisit on the first 2, and a genuine first sniff of the Absolu. I will potentially be working on individual reviews in the future on these. They're not in season for me, as we've just moved into early summer. It is June, mid-June at the recording of this. So, you know, more to come. I'll do individual videos at some point as it's more seasonally appropriate to where I'm actually wearing them more. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're not crazy expensive. The Absolu, because it's a new release, was on the higher price side. I want to say it was around $90 for the 50 ml. But the other 2 were like 56 to 62 range. I forgot exactly. For 50 ml, nothing crazy. Affordable. 50 ml is plenty for me. They're sweeter fragrances. They'll last. You know, sweeter designers tend to have pretty good performance for the most part. So I'm happy with these purchases. Again, there's links down below to Fragrance Buy where I did purchase these. If you want to check them out, it is an affiliate link. I do earn a very small commission if you happen to make a purchase through said links. But if nothing else, I sure appreciate you checking out the video. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. What do you think about any of these 3? Have you tried any of the 3 versions of Jean Paul Gaultier Scandal? What's your favorite? What do you like about them? What do you dislike about them? Definitely curious. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the Jean Paul Gaultier Scandal fragrances for men, you give them a spray now, you never know. You might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.